All right, preparing to live stream.
Got it.
And it looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Amplifying F# session. Today, I'm your host, Jimmy Bird, and we're going to be going over referencing F# projects and F# scripts. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So today's session, we talking with Thomas Lecco. We'll be on the topic of the F# scripts. We'll also be covering the current state of the issues and discuss what the current implementation is and limitations and explore blockers. But before we get to that, just want to remind with people what Amplifying F# is. It's a initiative to encourage hands-on collaboration with open source software. And so we'll be able to have other developers come to our sessions and make F# tooling better, or just any F# project. And you can actually join us by going to amplifying-f#.github.io, come over to the Join Us session, and it'll take you to a form. You can fill out your name, your time zone, and the topic. And you can either work on a specific issue, a specific project, or if you want help figuring it out, we can help you out. You can also come over to finding our previous sessions on our sessions page. You click at the top here. You can see all our previous sessions. You can also find all our sessions on YouTube as well. They should be under our live section. They're not under anything else. They're under our live section. Last week, we were able to luckily be with Eugene and help talk about parser recovery. I don't think there was actually any specific pull requests that were merged about this, but if you want to keep tabs on what he's been doing, you can actually just look for parser in the pull request section of the F# repository, and you can see what he's currently working on or what is currently closed. I also see Florian doing some work in this space too. All right, well, with that, I'm going to turn this over to Tomas.
Hi, everyone. I'm Thomas, and I wanted to contribute also a little bit to F# community, and I discovered a project from Chris some time ago, and yeah, I try to improve a little bit there something and do some deploy so that it will be better deployed or something like that. But let's start from the beginning. So what is the idea actually from this dependency manager with Fsproj files? So
you may want to share your screen.
Yeah, I have to share my screen. Sorry, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So can you see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay. So the idea would be, you also see this things here or not? Okay, doesn't matter. So the idea would be, if you are developing some project and you have your project file, which has some sources in it, and it references some other projects and also some NuGet packages, and you would like to test something like that just in your FSI or in Ionide without Alt Enter to execute some things. It would be cool to generate a load script like this on the right side, where you reference all the NuGet packages mentioned in these project files and also all the sources. And then you can actually open the namespaces or modules from the sources and execute the code in the script file. So if you change, for example, something and you can probably do it again, or hopefully can you do it again and see how this thing is behaving and how it's working. So that's the one possibility to do it. The other one would be to just build this project file and then reference just the DLL from the build directory. So it all started actually a little bit of history how it started. So Chris did some initial work, I think 3 years ago, something like that, where he made the initial implementation. which was using already this ionide proj info. And here, if you look into it, you have to clone the repository, you have to publish this, and then you have to reference this with compiler tool in this publish directory to use it. And I found it, I wanted to use it, and I just found it a little bit cumbersome to install. So I made a fork and tried to do something more user-friendly. And what I did was actually, in the beginning, I just made a NuGet package, but with NuGet package, I had some troubles because this directory where the dependency manager is where the DLL of the dependency manager has to have all the dependencies of this DLL. So I ended making a .NET tool. So this was also a version, I think, a year ago, something like that. It doesn't matter. And with .NET tool, install global dependencies of Fsproj, you can actually use it. Yeah, later we will see how this is working. Yesterday I found out that not everything is working as I actually thought it worked, but yeah, I have some troubles there. So just a little bit background here, how this dependency manager actually works. So there is an interface in F# core, which looks like this. So there is an interface which defines if the F# FSE, if it finds a type which has a dependency manager attribute with these members like name, key, and result dependencies, he will call this dependency manager depending on the key. So if you, for example, write #r Fsproj, then he will search through all the dependency managers with the key and find the one with Fsproj in it, and then he will call the result dependencies member with the directory where the script is running, the script name, extension, and the lines of the package manager text lines. So these are the lines which are actually in this #r Fsproj after the column. And the expected behavior is to return afterwards from this callback, let's call it like that, an object which looks like this, result dependencies result, which has a Boolean success and the resolutions, the source files. So the resolutions are the DLLs which should be referenced, and the source files are the source files which should be loaded. At least that's something I am understanding from this like this, because I didn't find any documentation for this. Once I found some GitHub issue, but I cannot find it anymore, where this was, I think, shortly described. So I learned actually a lot about it by looking at the implementation from Chris and from the implementations of the NuGet. So in the F# core, there is also an implementation from this dependency manager for NuGet packages. So we could also look there how this is done. So this implementation for NuGet is really complex because there are some project files are generated to get probably the correct NuGet packages or correct positions where the DLLs of the NuGet packages are to reference them. I don't understand this completely, but yeah. And also there is a packet version for this, which uses actually packet in the background to resolve the dependencies and create this result. Yeah, so the implementation that I did has some problems. So I actually did it a year ago, something like that, and We didn't use it in our company. It was, yeah, people didn't want to use it. I don't know why, but I left it there and I thought, okay, nobody needs this. And then a few weeks ago, somebody made an issue that this dependency manager doesn't work anymore with .NET 7 SDK. And he tried to update it and couldn't do it. And then I tried it also and had also some problems. And I saw also this amplifying, I saw at F# conference that the amplifying F# community is very open. And I thought, okay, maybe it's the good place to look for help. And so now I'm here. So the problems that we have is actually this .NET 7 with my newest INET project for. I will show you later what I mean. Somehow I don't get the project infos anymore. After I got this issue that it does not works with .NET 7, I tried another approach which uses .NET command line, because if we look into it, there is since .NET 6, I think, there is a possibility to get all the reference projects. For example, you can say .NET list reference and get for a project all the references which are there, so other projects which are referenced. And just a moment, actually I used the wrong project here. Why is it so slow? For example, if I say .NET list reference, I should get actually the dependency manager, yeah. And if I say .NET list package, I can get the NuGet packages which are referenced with the versions in it. And also, if I do it with include transitive, but I don't think I need this, we can get all the transitive dependencies. So I made a branch and tried to implement this with just a process run and using this and passing these packages, and actually try to generate a script where I don't resolve the dependencies, the NuGet dependencies myself, but generate a script with /r NuGet and leave it to the NuGet dependency manager to resolve this. Yeah. And through the references, I will get all the projects recursively to get all the projects and all the sources. And the sources I passed myself with XML parser, but I'm not sure if this is the best idea. But I tried this approach and had some troubles because after I returned this result to the dependency manager, it just called the callback again and again and again, and it ends in an endless loop. And I'm not sure. I'm guessing something crashes afterwards, or I'm not sure. So I left this, and as we also had this discussion then later on the GitHub issue regarding referencing Fsproj, where I saw that it's actually much more complicated than I thought before. I left this branch alone now, and yeah, I'm here, and let's see what the best solution is, or what should we do, and in which direction we should go to solve this. And also the deployment, I was still not actually happy with the deployment, because one have to install the this .NET tool and have to call it or reference it. It would be better to actually put it in the F# core so that it's deployed with .NET SDK. So I also made a pull request, or I started with a pull request. But after the discussions, I think we figured out that it's probably not the good time to do it now, because we are still at the beginning. Yeah, and also what yeah.
Today I can definitely help with some of these. So
yeah. Yeah, we also as I tried out this dependency manager, I also got some troubles like, for example, if the project file is using some other .NET framework, target framework as the FSI, then you can also have some, for example, what I have some problems. I tried to reference Pharma, and the Pharma is I think in Net Standard 2.0 or something like that, where, for example, there are no overloads for some functions like split or I don't know. And in the new SDK, in the new target framework in 6 or 7, there is overloads with spans or something like that. And the source code, which is here referenced with load or something like that, with load, is then in one case is non-ambiguous, and in this case in the FSI is then ambiguous, because he says, okay, you have to define your types, because I'm not sure should I call this function with string or with span as parameter. So it's also a problem which
there's an issue with the FSI being, I want to say it only exposes Net Standard 2.0 APIs. I want to say that's the case currently.
Yeah.
I think there is definitely an issue about them wanting to make that better, but I don't know where that's at.
Yeah, so that's this thing. So let's see how this thing is working or not working actually, but let's try it out. I made here a small project. Yeah.
I was going to say, I have some ideas about the INI proj info, because I dealt way too much with that. So if you're not getting dependencies from that, I have some ideas.
Okay. Okay, so let's just see how this is actually working. I made a small directory here where at the beginning I added just some this dependency manager, Fsproj. So if I call now the Fsproj, I get some info how I can use it. Yeah. So for example, if I want to try to start a script, I have to copy this part and do it like this, and then just call the script. And now it will not going to work, I guess, because how did it work now? I'm not sure. No, it didn't work. Why doesn't it work now? Let's see into it later.
Does it work without the compiler tool flag is the question.
Sorry?
Does it work without the compiler tool flag? That's the other question.
So yeah, now it should actually work without the compiler tool, because I just generated the script. Yeah, so there are multiple possibilities how to do it now. Very slow. I'm not sure why. Okay, I think we entered this problem with reentrancy. Oh no, it's not. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. So this is just maybe returning string and not printing it. Is it possible? Yeah. So probably we should say something like this.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. That. Yeah, now it's working. Okay. So the idea would be actually to put in FS code this line, so that the FSI in Ionide uses this directory and find the dependency manager, and then to have the same behavior as loading this script, for example. So the idea is that the dependency manager, Fsproj, when you give him this project, goes to the project, finds all the NuGet packages, finds other projects in it, and collects all the source code and all the NuGet packages, and generates a script or not generates a script, but returns this two list of values, one with the sources for the sources and one with the NuGet packages, or actually the DLLs of the NuGet packages back, so that the FSI references it. So it would be cool if this would work, yeah, so that I do not have to generate this script. Yeah. So the generating script part is probably the simpler one, I'm guessing. And the one where we then do this with dependency manager is, as I said, somewhat problematic, but I'm not sure why. And then it will be cool if I can just press Alt Enter and it does its thing, and this works. But yeah, I have some troubles there. We will see. We can try to find out why.
All right. Yeah, let's dig into it.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to show maybe the problem with the .NET 7. So with .NET SDK 7. So if I do something like this, and .NET to restore .NET restore. Moment, where did I?
Oh, you have to do it on the project file. You don't have a
Yeah,
solution.
yeah, yeah. No. I just thought that I have had here this. Just a moment. I had some. I made a script file where I reproduced this function for. Yeah, where I reproduced this problem with. I don't have it anymore. Just a moment, but. Okay, let's first look. Maybe, we will do the script again. Then I cannot find it now. Not sure why. Sorry for that. But let's see how the code is actually implemented now, and then see what we can do. So here's the dependency manager, and just a moment. And here is this type. That was, yeah. So we have here this Fsproj dependency manager, and we define here the key Fsproj, and we define here the name. I'm not sure for what the name is used, but yeah. Some help messages, which will probably be somewhere shown, I'm not sure. And the main implementation is actually in this resolve dependencies, where we get the script directory, main script name, and yeah, and the lines. So this package manager text lines should actually be these lines from here. Of course, if it's Fsproj here, then we'll get all the lines here. And I just interpret these lines as project files or list of project files, and combine this with a script directory and get the full path of the project. And with the load projects, we try to load all the projects with this Ionide project info.
Mm-hmm.
And here that's something that was also a Chris implementation from Chris, which just uses this base directory to get the SDK and the exe of .NET. Tools path and then with the loader and the tool path, we can create this iWorkspace loader and load all the projects, or just restore them before and load all the projects, because the project loading is not working unless they are restored.
Correct.
Yeah, and with load projects, we get all the projects which are given here. And this workspace loader returns a type which is just a moment here. Yeah, the load project is project options, and we have all the information actually we need to generate the the output for the dependency manager in these objects. So we have the project options here. Then we can, with a small helper function, we can collect through all the projects the package references and just get the full path out of it, where the package references. So this full path is actually pointing to a NuGet directory where the NuGet package is installed with the DLL in it. So these are our package references, which we are returning here in resolve dependencies result. And also we can also collect through these dependencies, collect them and return them. I'm not sure. So sort dependencies, we are sorting this, I think, according to the projects, how they are referenced. Yeah, we have to sort them so that the sources are returned in the correct order.
Right.
Because, yeah. And this is also something that we just returned there. Return. Yeah, exactly here.
Yeah, we got to do a fun topological sort. That's a
yeah.
Ooh,
and that's
fun.
how this works or should work.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and now we can probably try. We could probably try calling this from a script maybe to see what we get back, and to see. So my idea would be probably to call these two functions, load projects and get package references, to get the project files and package references for a project, for a sample project, and to see if this is working correctly or not, and to try it out. So let's do this.
Yep. So though, like the first, if you want to use that script file still, or like one of the first things I definitely do recommend is we've had many releases of the INI Projinfo since.
Okay. Yeah.
So definitely get to the latest of that.
Yeah.
One of the things because I fixed the work to make everything work on .NET 7, and the issue was long story about MSBuild. I'll just make that short. There's a set of tasks in it, and each one of those tasks have targets, or it's the other way around, one of the two. Doesn't matter. But the way that those targets are set up, the Projinfo stuff that we do is we have to tell MSBuild run these set of targets that we want you to do. Okay. And the F# team actually changed how their targets work, and so there was like that's why there was like a whole hard break, especially after like 6. There was a point in 6 where it stopped working too, because it was actually part 6. So like I found the missing target, which is crazy to think that like one extra string is the problem that broke everything, but that's what it was.
Okay. So let's try this just test project, something like that. And let's do just the newest version of project info and project system.
And there may be one other thing too that may be specifically affecting 7.0, and the fact that reference assemblies are turned on. And if it by default will try to use reference assemblies, and you won't get the correct information out of them from reference assembly. So there may be something we have to also like pass in somewhere as a global property.
Well, let's do it here, for example. Yeah. Let's. Yeah. So as you can see now, we are trying, for example, to test the dependency manager Fsproj. It would be cool if I can just reference this file and actually do exactly this, what I'm doing manually, to reference these NuGet packages, which are here in the packet references here file. So these two, now I'm doing this manually. So for a small project, yeah, it's not a problem, but for a bigger one, I mean, I mean, it's the question if this is the right approach to test something, but yeah. So I'm not sure why this is not. It's a wrong namespace.
Oh, I think you're missing a level in the. You're not directly under source. You have another folder in between source and the project files.
So okay, I didn't. Yeah, exactly. So just one. This is the. Yeah, here was my example why it's not working.
Aha. So
yeah. I knew I did it and I couldn't find it now. I just I just called it playground. It's
perfect.
Yeah. So we are referencing now the project files and this thing here. And we have our base directory, which I am now defining. That's just the directory where I'm here now, a small helper function. And I'm going to reference this simple lib, for example, which is just a normal Fsproj file with one file in it, just to see if this is working. Sorry, I had to close this because it's.
And you were in playground, I think, right?
Yeah. Why did it close? Okay.
You have to double click the name if you want it to stay open.
Yeah.
Or VS Code.
Thank you. So I have to, yeah, but I loaded it already. Yeah. Open the. This is everything here. So yeah, and now that's the reason now why it's not working in .NET 7, because this project options is now empty. And yeah, if I change this whole global JSON, if I change the global JSON to 6, then I get something back. Just a moment. Come on. I'm not sure why my
API expose being able to turn on bin logs, because we have the ability to specify adding bin logs, so we need to find where that is and probably use that.
Okay, can you navigate me to do it?
Yeah. We'll just make sure to show that it works in 6.0, but that'll be the that'll be the thing. Because I also need to refresh myself on how to do it. So
yeah. So now I'm running with 6, and if we do this again. Yeah, I get the project info spec. And as you can see, here are these reference files and everything that we need. So for example, if I call dependency manager, not attribute, but get package references from project options. We will get, in this case, just core because it's a simple project. And if I do for the sources, get source files, we will get the source files. Interestingly, there are some assembly attributes here. These are the automatically generated from the MSBuild, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And assembly attributes and assembly info, yeah, files. But the library file is here. So the idea would be actually to use now these two outputs to generate this. Actually, not to generate script. So I tried multiple solutions. The one was to just generate the script as in the image I showed you before, really to generate just one script with /r/NuGet and /load. But I think a better approach would be actually to return this these two. I mean, it's the question what is the better way, because in one I have probably to reference also all the transitive dependencies, transitive DLLs from the NuGet packages. In the other case, if I generate a script, I'll leave it to the NuGet package dependency manager to do it for me. So that's really, we have to weigh these two options also to see what is better. Yeah.
And I guess the question is, does the when you parse out the NuGet stuff, would you actually get the version correctly? I guess that's the
yeah.
So it's probably better. Like I would probably rely on not NuGet in the case, because your projects already have like a specific dependency and they're set to a specific thing already. That's probably where I leave it in terms. I probably just reference the DLL that get back from ProjInfo.
So these DLLs which come back from the Ionite ProjInfo.
Yeah, I would probably reference those, because it's MSBuild's already done the hard work of finding the DLL that you want to reference.
Yeah, that was my first, or actually that was Chris' idea to use this and leverage this. I switched to the version where I'm using .NET CLI, just because it didn't work for .NET 7, and I thought, yeah, maybe if I use this .NET CLI, it must work, because it's from Microsoft, and or I'm not sure, and I thought maybe it's a better way, and I do not have any dependencies, so it's also simpler to put it somewhere in some in some Fsproj project or something like that. I'm not sure if Ionite ProjInfo is actually in Fsproj core or not. Probably not, I guess.
It is not an Fsproj core project that we maintain outside. So
so I also thought maybe if I do it without dependencies, then it's also simpler to come into Fsproj repo. Yeah.
So let's dig into the load project stuff and see which API endpoint you're calling, because you do so you do get the workspace loader, and then you call load projects. All right.
Yeah.
Load projects should have an overload for.
I think I have Ionite. Do I have Ionite project?
So on line, is it line 52 on that file?
Okay. Yeah.
So if you look at the load projects, it should have an overload for the bin log. And so if you give it some extra parameters here, and I'll walk you through the bin log.
Okay. So we can actually copy this into a script.
Yeah, sure. That could work.
Yeah, actually I did already this. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so so there'll be a third overload. So do a comma, it'll be an extra, just an empty list here. And then there is,
okay.
Then there's a
binary log generation.
So there's a binary log generation type we'll have to create. And then we need to within, and then we need to give it a directory we want to write the bin log to.
Oops, sorry. Let's do it in some.
Question from Vlad was, which targets does ProjInfo evaluate and run? You were supposed to pass them in. There's another way to pass it and tell it what to choose. In terms of like FSAC choosing, it always just chooses whatever's first in your target framework list. There's no good picker for that yet. And I think by default, if you don't pass that in, I think that's the default behavior of inide proj info as well.
And what can I do now with this bin log?
Okay, so yeah, once you run that, you should get a bin log.
Yeah, I have
wherever
already
you're.
here a bin log directory with simple bin
Yep.
log, bin log.
So then there's a bin log viewer. Guess I should
In
send
Visual Studio
that.
Code or
No, it's
extension? Okay.
it's a separate tool. Here, I'll post it in the chat for people to see, but it's just if you look for msbuildlog.com, that's the tool.
Okay. So I can probably also see it in chat. Chat. Where is the chat?
This thing is a savior when dealing with anything MSBuild related, because it's, yeah, the first link there.
No.
Yeah, you have it up. So the first link will be there, that MSBuild log viewer.
Chat. Yeah. Oh, I know. Okay. Let's try this.
Yep. All the fun stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever installed it through Winget, so I don't know if that works.
Oh, we
But
have
it
a
does.
notification from Vlad in the chat, if you can read it, Jimmy.
Yeah, I read it out and oh, is there another one? Oh, so I didn't mean release build targets. I meant okay. I mean build. There might be some interesting interactions with Fsproj, CSproj, which uses CodeGen. Oh,
Okay, it's installed now.
Oh, but the build targets. Yeah, there's a set of targets. Let me go find that, and I'll post the link to that. But there's a set of targets that we definitely set that are, I think, overridable, but let me go through the library.
Great.
Okay, so the build targets. I'm gonna post a link to the build targets. Oh, that is not the link. That is literally a straight line. Thank you, GitHub. That's the list. And then there's a set of properties we actually look for on the evaluation step. Yeah, this tool is very, the MSBuild proj info, the cyanide proj info is basically just like a bunch of outsiders that don't really know too much about MSBuild trying to figure out how to make MSBuild work for us. So I'm sure there's many things we're not doing exactly right in that project because it's hard. But then yeah, find the bin log. And then simple bin log, yep.
Okay, I think we are now using binlog, which actually worked with .NET 6. We should probably do the other one actually.
Yeah, so this will be the one that works. So let's swap
Let's
over to
see,
7.
let's see this one. Yeah.
You might want to rename this file just to have like the one that works. So
yeah.
then we can actually make some comparisons.
Probably have to close it because now it's open. I'm not sure if this is, yeah. So let's rename it and say it works. Or,
Yep.
Yeah,
6.0 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Just second name.
Yeah. So let's do global JSON again. 7. Close this. Oh, wrong. And let's do it again.
Yeah, and there may be another property we have to set. because they have to do it from FSAC and we don't do it in Fsproj info, which might be a culprit.
Okay. Okay. We didn't get any bin log here now.
We didn't even get a bin log, or is it
No.
just this code
No.
not
No,
interesting?
those not maybe.
Maybe just yeah, maybe
refreshing.
just fresh. No, I would think by now it would.
Yeah.
Even better. So it's not even getting to that step then? That's interesting.
Yeah, so the projects. Yeah. Ah, maybe I need to .NET restore before, because now I'm using the. I didn't.
Yeah, you
restore
may have
projects.
to reload the window. Like FSAC might be using, I don't know. This could get weird.
Okay.
It might spawn a new process, so it might not be an issue, but it might be.
Yeah.
It's.
I'll do it. I would firstly just restore everything with .NET 7, just to be sure that maybe build the.
Yeah, I don't know. That
so
feels weird,
.NET
but
build test simple test project. Yeah, it's a little bit chaotic here. Sorry for that, but yeah.
no worries.
Simple lib.
This is the reality of dealing with tooling.
Okay. I'm going to reload. Hopefully it's, or should I close and open? Or is it the same? I'm not sure. Let's try reload first.
Yeah, I know when we start up our FSAC process, we were based on the global JSON, and I don't know if any processes that get spawned from that are based on that as well, or it's fun little game of which process spawned which.
Okay. Let's see.
Still didn't get a bin log. Okay, so something else is breaking before we even get to that point.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's see if I have the new version of the. No, I do not have project.
Well, you have it in the.
So now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you want to open it, could dig
Should I
at it.
open the exact version or should main be good enough?
Main should probably be good enough for the minute.
Yeah. Okay. So we need to find the.
Do I actually need to
projects.
make a release of that soon? Probably need to. Or is that a? No, it's just an issue. Okay, those are not based on releases.
Project system.
Okay, so
Project workspace.
it will be in the library.fs file. Is basically the one that we'll be looking at.
Workspace. No, I'm searching for it. So
Yeah, is there something else
up
that we
and
need to
running.
do? Oh, do we? Okay.
Or is it, yeah. So here is the no, that's not that good. I cannot find the implementation. I'm sorry.
Oh, so yeah, it'll be in another library.fs file. I think it'll be under the direct, that one, the under source cyanide proj info. Yeah,
Okay.
that one. Yep. It'll be in here.
That's abstract
So one of
manual.
these, you're probably not using the project graph. You're probably using the other one. So it'll be that one. Yep.
That one.
Yep. That'll be the implementation. And then in here,
Load project. Just a moment. I'm confused a little bit. This one is calling.
yeah, this gets into the fun, all the fun overloads that we have to do to support stuff.
Yeah.
So on line 1257, if you go to definition on that load projects,
This is
that's
7.
take you to.
Yeah, it.
Oh, let's take you to the implementation.
Yeah, that's the.
Gross.
So.
Then I will probably open this myself. Let's see.
Please do help me.
Because there's two implementations of this thing, and this is using like a bespoke one that Chris did a very long time ago, and then there's the one that's using the project graph stuff, which is kind of new in MSBuild and does some other things that make it slightly faster.
Is this one?
There's that one. That's the one implementation, but it should work for both. Both of these don't have, like, they both pass stuff to MSBuild. It's basically just about how we call MSBuild. Like, there's slightly different variations on that.
This is again the same one. This one should be without project graph. Yeah, finally.
Yep, there we go.
Okay.
There's like a spoken implementation.
But one question, IRI should actually use this project info to load projects, also with .NET SDK 7.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's working.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Okay, so why is it possible that we have some problems with FSI then? That because we did it with Alt Enter in FSI?
I don't think so, but maybe.
Because I could guess that with starting from this, we are now with F# core. Some specific F# core we have, and some specific DLLs from the framework are referenced as soon as I start FSI, and then maybe this crashes or something. Not crashes, but yeah.
I'm guessing we didn't meet a precondition. You may have to. Why is it looking for that thing? You might want to actually just do like a build on this project if you can, or at least restore. That might make this experience be a little bit better.
Yeah.
There's also a comment in the chat from that saying that there is a workplace loader that has notification member. Maybe it's worth subscribing.
In the chat, why is it not showing up for me? There's also a load notification. What's wrong? Yeah, workspace. Maybe it's worth subscribing. Yeah, we could subscribe to that. The other options are there is some logging that I added to even get like even more stuff, but both are probably worth seeing. Where did my
Okay.
All right, there's all your type checking.
Mhm.
Finally showed up.
Okay. How should we now check what?
All right, so yeah, there's
Okay.
the loading notifications that are probably, as Vlad pointed out, those are probably worth subscribing to as a first measure to see
Okay.
what's happening there.
Okay. How can I do this? Because I already, yeah.
From the and back in the playground script, there should be a dot notifications on loader.
On the loader. Mhm.
Yeah, which you could subscribe to. We'll see if that gets us anything. And if that doesn't, then we can do the fun work of subscribing to the logging mechanism that's in.
Applications, test and events. How do I do a add handler or something like that?
Yeah, I think you might want to do add handler. I think that's like an old F# API. You might want to use
Okay.
like subscribe. I think you could just use dot subscribe. That's
Okay,
much
subscribe. So get
much friendly.
observable. Okay. With I disposable. Okay. And here I have my notification.
Yep, you can just
And I will just print it. Yeah. The percenter I need this. Do I need use now, or I cannot do use because I'm in FS6? It doesn't matter probably. Let's subscription. Let's do it like that. Okay.
and try
Now
loading
if
projects.
Yeah, and I do it.
Failed.
Okay. Generic.
Nope.
Yeah. Very good.
Field not
Field
found.
not found. Change waves. Wave. What?
What is that?
Let's Google it.
Never seen that.
Change waves.
Anyone in oh, ping in.
What's this?
Microsoft build, bane of my existence. Good luck. Yes. Every time .NET puts out a new version, I'm like, oh no.
Field not found.
What is this?
This code works on .NET 7, maybe to make it bigger. MS Workspace.
Oh, this might be an issue in the script file if it's some weird oh yeah, okay. We need to actually reference a specific version of Microsoft build, I think is
In
the
the
issue
script
here.
file. In scripts
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because reasons.
Yeah. But how do I find out the correct
stuff? And I hope that won't actually interfere with whatever FSI is loading. So we may have to like turn this into a console project to like get to work correctly too. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Loading MSBuild DLLs into places gets weird real quick, unfortunately.
Okay.
Let's see.
So should I probably do a small test project or something like that?
Let's give it a try and see if we can load the specific versions. But just look, if you go on NuGet and look for the init proj info and see like what our minimum is, just pick those. That would be a good default. I think we have a minimum. Maybe we don't have a minimum. Maybe we need a very specific.
Do I need this or this one?
CC. That's a good question.
Dependencies.
Oh yeah, we don't list them because
they are loaded. Yeah, here Microsoft build 17.2.0. Let's try it.
There's build and there's that build framework, and I think there's also utilities and task core. There's 4 DLLs I think we have to have, which is
okay. All this.
Yeah, I think we do list some of this in the README, but it's probably not comprehensive enough. because I don't even understand it. So
Okay.
the MSBuild framework, we definitely recommend we put this in the NuGet frameworks. We need both now. Okay. Yeah, there's a yep, on line 41 mentions build framework and NuGet frameworks.
Okay. And NuGet frameworks. Okay. With the version. Let's just copy both of them. Let's hope this works.
Yeah.
Let's see how far I can come with not yet.
You were doing power level right here. It's amazing.
Okay, is this now correct? Okay, I will close this one.
Yeah,
Again,
definitely kill it.
Yeah.
Reloading their stuff.
Let's see if this works. Did it
Well, looks
do it?
like
Okay, it already did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still doesn't like that. Interesting.
No.
All right, let's do the thing and turn this into a console project. This
Okay.
I know this sucks, but
Yeah, it's not. About, yeah, let's just do it. Don't want to call it Fragrance again. Test. Something. So I have to add these two again, probably.
you can just basically copy all the source and just add the. You can just do the .NET package add, or is it add package because they flipped the arguments.
Yeah.
They did it wrong.
I cannot put multiply on the line. Well, let's see what's here.
Yep, and then
should I put this version back to 17.2 and
yeah, I've not tested it against too high of a version, so it's probably good to put something a little for the moment.
May I do it like this and then .NET Freestyle? I hope it will work exactly as expected.
Yeah, then you should be able to just copy the rest of this file into the program FS.
And I probably would like to add then reference to this. Fsproj. Yeah. hope that it works. Did you do here .NET 7? Yeah, okay.
Is the project reference going to have an issue because those going to have this same versions, proj info and stuff
Let's see.
in the source directory?
So, we are
doesn't
mixing
even-
packets.
okay.
We are mixing
Oh,
packets and and we are mixing packets and NuGet. That will be.
No.
That surely will be no problems there.
You could also do the very, very fun thing of just reference the source files in the extra project.
Yeah, actually, that may be probably a better solution in this case now. Let's do it like that, yeah. So, you can copy the
Also, this is going to be very unsupported in FSAC, so I don't know how. I don't think you're going to get like great IntelliSense for this stuff. So.
Yeah, and then Proj and extensions. Luckily, it's just a simple project.
Mm-hmm. All right, now give that a build. See what happens. Yeah, just give that a build and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just asking myself, should I worry about this or not?
One. Oh, it's got a constraint on that as well. You know, I don't think you're actually using the project system. Maybe, but you can probably get away with not using the project system if there is an issue there.
Okay.
I doubt.
With some more links in the chat, I think we have some more comments regarding Fsproj.
Oh, yeah. If you wanna join in, Vlad. I don't know if this is particularly the issue immediately, because like it gets really weird. Like Vlad's basically bringing up the point that like it doesn't seem like it's loading the MSBuild SDK correctly, and that probably is the case. But it gets really weird when it gets from like scripts to proj files. Like there's something screwy sometimes it goes in there.
Yeah. So problem is that you usually like when you excuse me, when you are trying to load MSBuild, you don't bundle it, right? Like with your package, like with your script or like with Proj info, because this way you are constraining it to the specific version, but you don't want to do that. You want to load it in when you're running, and this is something MSBuild Locator does. It goes, it discovers the SDK paths on your system, like it discovers legacy MSBuild, .NET MSBuild, and Visual Studio MSBuild, and then like we did it multiple times, and it does set some binary paths and some MSBuild paths, and also it loads it in the current assembly load context. So like you create a new one technically, and you just load it so it's available in runtime. And multiple things can happen. And like when you're loading new one, multiple things can happen. Like, the first thing, you can be constrained by the version of the .NET you're running on. It's kind of sort of easy to try to figure out or like have this mapping. But if the new DLL with a new name is added and it's not within the known DLLs, MSBuild DLLs, you don't explicitly load it in the assembly loading context, in runtime just blows up. Like it tries to evaluate the project, and like it tries to load types from specific DLLs, but it doesn't know about it. So this is, I think, what's happening here. I found, in the project info, we have this setup for SDK version, and we pass the SDK root, and I'm not sure like if we pass everything. So unfortunately, we don't have chat with us here. I think so. He would know. Yeah, he's on vacation, I think. But it seems like there is a specific DLL not being loaded, and I like either project info not when it like it's searching in a couple of directories. I think like language specific and a common DLLs, but there may be another directory in a new SDK version which like DLLs from it should be loaded as well. So yeah.
What I find, sorry to interrupt, but what I find strange is the Ionide project info is used in Ionide, and it can load actually .NET SDK 7 or .NET Project 7. Why is it not working now? You know what I mean? So it's very strange that I cannot load a simplest project that actually. So it's really just a simple project with, and it's .NET standard.
Yeah, but it's important which SDK it
is using. Like, okay.
Yeah. So like it has to load. So when the setup is happening, the directory SDK root is being passed to the function, and there like we do the locator tries to discover the all the DLLs that it needed.
So this
right
directory,
So SDK, like this SDK setup.get SDK4 should be returning something, and it may be returning a wrong thing, or as an alternative, like there may be some new DLLs which are not loaded for some reason.
Let's see, how do we? Okay, so if you look at get for SDK, so where are we? Oh, are we missing a tools? Okay, so we are calling the tools path create, right?
7304.
Oh, you know what? There's a missing call to, or is that get for SDK? Is that what's doing the init? Or is it set up for SDK? It's probably set up for SDK. If you go to that function, what is that doing?
In project for it. Set up for SDK version, just a moment. And here, set up for SDK. So it's different. Why don't
we have an init function that's not, because it looks like maybe that's the other thing, is we're missing this init function. So that's where I'm like, where, because this is something that we do in FSAC. There's an init function calling for the path for the .NET executable, and you can pass none to it. So I wonder if that's our issue.
I find it strange. Not just a moment. This one is in. Oh, that's one I wrote.
Aha, so this might be where stuff's getting weird.
Because that's the one probably that Chris used, and I just put it there and said, okay, this is working. So I should probably use the setup for SDK from Projinfo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Projinfo might have he might have put this in Projinfo later or something. That might be.
I found here setup for SDK version, something like that.
Yeah, there's an init call that you want to use. It's under.
Okay. So okay, let's try this. Maybe we are lucky and it works also in.
Yeah. Just holding the thing wrong. Yeah, and then there should be. It's just a init.init. I think it's just a init.
Directory info SDK root.
There's like an init function, because I'm also modeling this off of FSAC.
Just init function.
Yeah, and then you can give it the current working directory. which I
Yes.
think we use as the top level
Base
of
here.
what do
Oh,
we use?
I'm just doing wrong. Sorry. That's here actually.
So we just use the current directory when we load up. So I'm guessing.
Yeah. So this is base directory. This is source directory of this script. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he's just detecting which SDK using global JSON or something like that.
And then the init also has a optional executable for the .NET, and you can pass none to that.
The init has directory info and file info option.
Yep. So just give it a none. I think we also
Yeah.
pass none to it. Or do we actually figure out the .NET? We do figure out the .NET path. Interesting.
Yeah, what is now? So working directory and dot option file info, and I get the. Okay,
Oh, it's a
tools
tuple,
path,
not
yeah.
it's a tuple, not a
Tools
curried.
path, so I don't need the rest. Okay.
Okay, cool.
This I
Oh,
don't need any. That's
Yeah, we'll manually call .NET restore if we have to, but we may have to figure out the .NET
Yeah.
exe.
okay. Let's get the loader. Yeah, I have to subscribe to the new loader, and let's try this one. But just a moment.
Let's-
Maybe if I delete.
Now let's start off from scratch.
Yeah. Well, let's just do it in console. Come on. Very slow everything. Oh, I think I was also a little bit confused. But okay.
Still doesn't found the change waves. That's
It comes again and again.
it's loading 17.6, and I don't think we're trying to load 17.6, which is interesting.
17.6 is a part of 7.0 400 or 300 SDK. So if you will actually go to the SDK directory, you will see that Microsoft build DLLs, which are will be of version 17.6 something likely, and the change waves are it's a new set of features developed in the MSBuild, which can be unstable or risky or just something you don't want to opt into automatically. So it's the mechanism of disabling them, for example. I don't know why it might be confusing for current like FSI session because like it might already have some Microsoft build DLLs loaded, like if we pound R them, and then like it tries to load once from the once from SDK, maybe there is some mixing of the assembly loading contexts, and it tries to load a new field from old DLL, something similar.
Yeah, that's why we moved to a console project as well, to see if that was there's some conflation there about how that gets loaded. Okay, so the other thing is FSAC, we have a minimum version of the Microsoft build framework. We have that set to 17.4. So let's see is that actually being used in see what is our actual.
17.4.
Let's see if what
Yeah.
we actually have it set to. Yeah, it looks like we have it set to 17.4. So
4. Okay.
so that's at least what's working in Ionide FSAC.
The moment I'm trying to stop this, but I just hope that the .NET Run does everything for me, the restore and framework switching and everything. Okay. Okay, so
That's slightly different.
slightly different. At least we get something. Okay, maybe if I moment I
Oh,
put
that's
now
all the
global.
like build targets. Yeah, so it's like
Interesting.
whatever 304. There's like an issue on 304. Oh man, that's a
Yeah. So if I put this on 100, I guess, then
but I'm
it's
running
working.
304. Like yeah.
Was it like that? I think this one was working. It's really very, very slow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I'm running 304 on my work project. This something else is.
Okay, so at least for
we
me
get
it looks like when I put 70100, I get at least some output. And if I put 7304, then it fails with this strange wave. It's waving at us and laughing.
Yeah. This is the fun journey of just dealing with all this weird MSBuild stuff. Error creating lock flow for that, so that's weird.
Okay, but if, for example, I'm not sure if you're going to find it today now, but the direction in which I should go is actually to look in this project what version is referencing, and
Yeah, so the next thing.
Do you have global JSON also here?
So, well, this is a little different, specifically because we have to support different versions, and so there's 2 test suites that we run, actually about 7 and 6, and we have to do it at a global JSON level. So you'll actually see this in the GitHub workflow file. You'll actually see what we're doing. In terms of build, yeah. So in here, what we have to do is we have to actually remove the global JSON file and set it so we can actually do proper like loading of the right build stuff. This is some like nasty stuff that I can't believe we have to do, but we have to. I don't know of a better way.
Okay. Okay,
but this gets to like yeah, like, but why would this not work with?
Okay, so actually it should work with this global JSON.
Yeah, like I don't think we're having test failures about like change wave, which is interesting. And I don't know. This is very
Mhm.
all the very fun stuff
Mhm.
of how it was built. Like this is the session that Chet should be on, because he
Okay.
probably knows all the lore and is like, here's the exact thing, because
Yeah, maybe we should leave it for now, and I will ask then Chat via Slack or somehow. I'm not sure what's the best way to talk with him.
I just like just I don't know, have an issue open with, or a pull request open with some of the changes. And
Okay.
the other thing is to also just try to mimic as much as possible about what FSAC is doing. And that's probably the other thing. Try to like just nail down, and maybe there's some weird one-off thing that's just not working correctly because we're doing it differently in FSAC and not here.
Yeah. Okay.
Does it still
And what I would,
remove page from Fsproj? That's a good question. Give that a try if we actually remove the MSBuild.
what should I do?
If you remove the MSBuild package under there, yeah, see if you can,
This build framework.
just see, and probably the NuGet framework too, just in case, just to see if we get the same error in .NET Run.
Mhm.
This is what Vlad was asking.
Just a moment. I'm not sure what's in global JSON now. Okay. I can also put 700. Oops, sorry. Let's try exactly like your version is doing.
But yeah, this is the fun work. I have to do the same kind of problems with like FSAC every time like this stuff comes up. Like you've probably seen in the past where there's like system array can't be found kind of stuff, and that's where I have to like dig into the bin logs and figure out what's going on. But yeah. So yeah, it's probably worth just parking this part for, if this doesn't work, probably just worth parking this for this short period and seeing that it just works. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vlad.
Okay. Perfect.
Amazing. Perfect.
Okay.
So loading it, and the script had something loaded that wasn't working correctly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I learned today is do not use script for things with MSBuild.
Yeah, don't use it with MSBuild. Don't use it with the F# compiler service. Like none of that stuff works in a script file in the way that you'd really want to expect.
Okay, but in a unit test file, in an expector or something like that, it should work correctly.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Let's. I have still some questions. Exactly. If I do now this dependency manager, let's say I succeed to load this and do with .NET 7. What should I have here as the target framework? Can I have problems here also? So if I'm referencing here a project info, and you say I probably don't need this one, I will remove it later. Yeah. What should I put here for target framework? Because
I think you'll be fine. Oh, the hard part is okay. This might get into.
Yeah, intuitively, I will say as smallest version as possible.
Mm-hmm. This gets a little weird because the problem here is I don't know, like this is something we're gonna have to like analyze and see like what it thinks it should use, because it might point to like the SDK of like, if it might point to the SDK that's currently running, or it might point to like the TFM runtime. This stuff gets a little tricky to navigate too.
Yeah.
And Vlad might have some other things about this, because like we also recently had this kind of issue with .NET 8.0 for Ionide is because if you have like the .NET, it might load the right DLLs, because the problem is basically what was happening is it would run in the .NET 8 process and it would try to load, or there's like the host process, which is .NET 8, and then it might try to load the TFM, which is like .NET 7, and it'll try to actually run that, but it was like loading the wrong DLLs from the wrong SDK. And so this is one of those, like, we're just going to have to like see what makes sense. You can start here, figure it out.
Can I maybe do some, or is it clever to do to generate multiple, or can I when I create a NuGet package, or in this case a .NET tool, which actually is a NuGet package, I think in the background, I can actually do multi-targeting or something like that.
Yeah, you could also multi-target, and it might not be a problem.
Okay. I will try to repair this thing so that it works with .NET 7. And I guess that the actual problem was that I was using the wrong setup for SDK.
Yeah, well, there's two things. It was using the wrong setup for SDK. I guess you could try it in the script and see if the script was also a problem, but probably also might be using it. Script files get weird when you start talking about like MSBuild dependency and stuff. So it's.
No, but I guess the initial problem in the project file itself, in the tool itself, was actually this one. And then when I try to reproduce it and to find where the problem is, I started with script, and that's probably the second problem. I'm guessing now, but yeah, it could be that it's the second problem we had. Yeah. Okay. And this.
So for everyone watching at home, MSBuild does things.
Fun.
There's a lot of magic that goes on, and all the people that make it work correctly, I can't believe it actually happens. Because it's
one
hard.
question I still have is when I get this project package references, here I will get all the references, also the transitive NuGet dependencies and everything, I'm guessing now.
Yes. Yeah, because what's happening is if you go under like the obj folder on the right side, there's a project assets JSON folder or JSON file.
Yeah.
What's happening is MSBuild, whenever you do a restore, it does this, and then MSBuild, when we're asking for information, it not only gets where the SDK thing is, where all the DLLs for the SDK is, but it also figures out where like the correct dependencies based on like your target framework is, and this file has a lot of that information as well. And so you can actually see like it basically will kind of mirror some of the information here, but it will actually get you the correct like paths to like where stuff actually is.
Okay, this is just okay. I understand. This is just relative thing, and MSBuild is then using all the system settings and environment variables to give you the whole path, the absolute path. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, it should give you all the dependencies for a thing that needs to build.
And another question I have, maybe just for the direction of the project, because we also defined some problems which we could have with referencing. I'm not sure why the preview is not opening, but what do you think, or what everybody is thinking about the idea that we compile? So about this second solution, where we compile the project files actually and reference the DLLs directly. isn't this something that should actually be more robust? Because we are possibly. Because here I always have a problem that loading the sources in the context of FSI, which uses some specific DLLs, already has some specific DLLs and framework, could actually be problematic. And if I use it like a DLL, if I'm just referencing DLL, the problems are, there shouldn't be as much problems, I guess.
Yeah, I think both probably present their own hurdles. Mainly because the second one means you actually have to like shell back out to MSBuild and get a whole rebuild. And that might take some time and it may not be as apparent. Whereas all the thing is doing is kind of just running like a quick, it's like relatively quick MSBuild command of just getting like basically DLLs and references to files. And
yeah.
so there might be a trade-off between those things. And it might also be like you may have to run into like a caching kind of problem, because like what if you have 3 scripts and you have like, let's say you have script A at the top and you have script B and C that both reference A. What if they all 3 put in an Fsproj reference to the same project? Do you want to call it build 3 times?
I understand. Yeah.
Like there might be some weirdness about that. That's kind of basically you're recreating the whole project system. So I don't know. It's also I could see there being some benefits too, like it because like then you don't have to actually, like, ordering is a little bit less tricky in terms of like which project files have to go where. Now you're just referencing one DLL instead of like 100 files or whatever's in your project. So like there's definitely upsides to it, and I think it's one of those like pick one until it's really painful, and have the other as a good place for other people to contribute, or or maybe you find maybe you just find one path is just painful and then just go to the other. Like
because with this solution I also had some other problems. For example, if you have multiple projects here, so one project is referencing the other projects and you are loading all the files, then you also can have some problems if the files have the same name, because when you then load these files with the same name, then you get also the error that the definition is already there, so that you are, I think something like module.
Even if they're different like directories and stuff.
There was something, because he's making, I think FSI is making this this module automatically with file name or something like that. Because if you, for example, just load source1fs, then you have to open source1fs to get into it or something like that, I think.
Yeah, okay.
And so if you have, so this is also a problem I stumbled upon. And
I think then that does present its own interesting problems, because then you have to flag duplicates and just say like you can't do this or something. I don't know. That's tricky. You're right. So like the DLL could be an easier path on that. Then you do have to specify like the configurations that you want to for that thing, right? You'd be like, I want this TFM, I want this configuration, like release or debug. I want, here's extra like properties that I need to pass in to MSBuild. And that's not that's actually probably an easier tenable option too, but you have to start doing some parsing or something strange there.
Yeah. And also I'm not sure in both solutions, actually, I'm not sure what should happen. For example, if I select these 4 lines and Alt Enter, or just the one line actually, because it's this Fsproj reference, and I press Alt Enter and then do it again on the same project.
Right.
And what's happening here also in this second solution. So if I change sources, for example, in the project file somewhere, some source, and I want to get the new version of this project, so I reference it again, what should actually happen there? So
yeah, the hard part, so like this is actually like a problem currently with FSI and just being able to like get kind of like the latest and do the like diff between like files. Like there's some people out there who've done some like hacks on top of FSI to get like kind of nice watcherability on top of other files to kind of like, oh, you've changed this file, let me just automatically import this into FSI. Like there's some ways of doing that, but it's all kind of hacky and it doesn't like, I've done, I actually used it for a little while. And then if you do that, FSI will consume all of your memory on your machine because it doesn't let go of the old files actually, or whatever. It's something weird like that. So it's not, you have to actually restart FSI eventually at some point. I think probably the use case that we'd probably want to, but that's a down the road kind of support thing, and I think FSI needs to solve that separately anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have some comments in the chat here. Gothier, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. I prefer reference DLLs. It sounds like it's simpler for this tool from Will. And yeah, like there's definitely some simplicities to them for sure. But I think like they both present their own trade-offs on what you have to do to support things. And that's why it's, I don't know,
maybe I can do something like, I think this, because I get all the lines and for example, when you reference NuGet packages, you can add some version after the comma here. Maybe we can do both implementations or something like that with time, and then one can switch with a parameter or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the other option, right, is to potentially have two different loaders, right? You can just have like fsproj -source and then fsproj and leave one of them to being the, or vice versa, whatever you want to call them, and have one be a source version and one be a DLL version or something.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Gothier also says that there is one issue with reloading the CDLL, though. Apparently it loads an assembly and it won't reload it. So that's kind of a showstopper if we can't support that for the DLL support. That's
I mean we could when you say the same DLL, it means, because when I built this, I could actually build it in some directory or something like that. So to make for each version, I make a new directory so that or is it still the same DLL? I'm not sure if this.
I don't know how that would
because yes, the version I have to change the version somehow, because for name, that's
both of the, I think what you're going to run into is just like all the because there's so much cool stuff in terms of like interactive programming that is like out there that would be amazing to have in FSI, but we just don't have it yet. And I think you're going to start running into like those kind of like weird cases that like FSI is great for like just prototyping something really quick and referencing a few things, and sometimes also being like a script file for like doing builds or for running CI applications or standing up infrastructure. But when you're talking about like I want to do a bunch of live things, like basically if I could run like, because like this would be a dream for me as like a developer, is if I could run like FSAC in an interactive shell and connect INI to it and like interactively change the code and get feedback. That would be such an amazing experience, but we just don't have that as a reality.
You mean like Unison?
Yeah. Like any type of like super high like I think like not many programming languages have that kind of ability, unfortunately. Like I think there's some in the closure, essentially. Like, I want that like super interactive changing of stuff.
Mhm.
And that would be so amazing. But I think with this kind of stuff, we'd be pushing up against that wall that FSI just doesn't have that kind of like support.
Yeah, the question
And,
is if the .NET is allowing something like this actually, because in .NET you also have to load then new versions and override the old one, and yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah, that gets into like assembly loading semantics, and I don't actually have a good grasp on how well those things do stuff. So, because it's basically like a plugin model, right? It's basically like we're you think of it as a plugin, but we're just loading DLLs and being able to get edit dynamically.
Okay, let's put this into dependency manager. Let's see.
I'm glad the fix was one line.
Let's see if this is really the fix.
I can't tell you how many recent things like that have been around MSBuild and fixing .NET like runtime issues. It's just been like it's one line, but it took you multiple hours to discover that it's one line.
Get SDK4, so I guess we do not need both of them. And just call init here.
Yeah, it may still be worth trying to figure out where your .NET SDK is, because you'll probably still want to do the restore for people. But I think you can use like current process even as like the thing.
Does the toolpath is toolpath? What is a toolpath?
It's actually its own.
Maybe it has.
Well, that's the second parameter that you pass in, is that none. It's that's the .NET exe that you can use.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's now I understand. Okay, so SDK discovery. So you mean let's leave this to get to .NET exe? Oops.
Yeah, possibly that might work.
Hopefully this is correct one. Was the second found SDK info.
So Gauthier mentions that underlying FSI probably
sure.
issues so assembly load, maybe hooking into the system app domain, current domain assembly is resolved and do some magic, but probably requires an overhaul of FSI itself. Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. What? Conflict different version workshop.
Oh yeah, we can remove the proj info project system DLL, because we don't need that. Proj info has all the more tame bits, or I guess it's more like underlying behavior. So like the different solution or the different projects we have in there is like proj info just has like the default, this is the bare bones, API that we put on top of MSBuild to make it work with us a little bit simpler. And then there's other abstractions on top of that, which is like the project system, which is supposed to actually handle like reloading projects if they change and stuff. Then there's the FCS, which is supposed to take like MSBuild and copy it over to like the F# compiler service options. And then there's the solution, which is basically for parsing solutions. But yeah, all the real brains is just in the INID proj info itself. And if you don't need like the project system is more for like FSAC, like unless you actually need like reloading of projects, which might make sense here, maybe. Probably not.
Just a moment, I have to just it here. Version to publish it locally. Let's see, get it to work. Moment, I think I'm deploying it to okay. To path, which is okay. Let's try .NET 7 project. This one standard. Let's just change this to 7. Let's see. Yeah, it's working.
Woo! We did it.
Yeah, thank you. I will correct this. Just a few things which I will do it, and then later I will remove this debug outputs and try to do a little bit with complicated projects, more complicated projects like Farmer or I don't know.
Yeah, I will say the
Let's see.
one thing that you'll want to look at, let me go find, there's a piece of code in the FS autocomplete that you might also need. Where's and so if you, I don't know if you actually have the FS autocomplete project.
My
Or if
private
not-
notebook, I
if
have
not.
one. Just a moment, maybe.
If not, it's not a big deal. I can post this in the chat, but there is another thing you may have to set. I put it in the chat here. It's about FS autocomplete, the consts file. If you do have access to the, if you may have to fetch if it's not. Oh, yep, right.
Yeah.
Yep. So this also didn't play well with type checking across projects. This might not be a problem for you, but if you run into some weird issues about cross-reference projects, you may have to set this as well as a property, and just kind of look at where that's being used. They'll eventually and remember when we did that load projects and we passed in that empty array, that's basically where you would pass this piece of information.
And how do I set this?
So if you go back to the project manager stuff, your project dependency, or your project dependency manager.
Yeah.
In the load projects call, where we generated
Okay.
like the thing.
Actually, yeah.
That the empty list that I had you pass in as the second parameter, I think is the global properties for that.
Just a moment, I cannot find it now.
So yeah, wherever we call workspace load project or whatever.
Workspace. Yeah.
Yep. So
okay.
The second parameter.
That's the second parameter. Okay. Now I get it. Yeah. Okay. I understand now.
I think that's the case. And so if you do, you don't have to do it right now, but just keep this in mind.
Yeah.
Do some weird issues. Cross-reference assembly is not giving you, or cross assembly is not giving you correct stuff. This might be something you have to also turn on or turn off.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
So
well,
if I stumble upon some other problems, then I will be so free to write you in Slack, I guess, or Discord. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, GitHub issues are also a good way to.
Okay.
But to do
should I put it on? Just put the issue on my own repo and mention you or chat. Or
absolutely.
Okay. And also, what I would like to ask you, so this dependency manager, here the Chris is actually the owner or something like that. So I made a fork, and I can actually, but I don't need to because I can deploy a .NET tool independent of the. I don't need actually. No, everything is okay.
I mean, if you want to contribute that back to Ionide and house it there, I think I can do that if we want to arrange that.
Let's first step by step. I should actually do a new version of the .NET tool, and if it's working or something like that, then I will contact you to see what the next steps should be and what can we do. Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I think we're coming up on our time. Does anyone else have any other questions or anything else I want to bring up before we end the stream? All right. Then I will take that as a no. And I'm going to take over the screen for a minute here and just kind of do our little outro. So let's go back to Zoom here. And then I will share my main screen. All right, so I'll just remind everyone if they want to come and do a session as well, just come to amplifying-fsharp.github.io and click the join us button today. And we look forward to seeing you next time.